And there we go, I think. There we go. What's going on, everybody? This is Smokey, and welcome back to the smoke room from the hiatus of 2 or 3 months, probably longer than that. But this is episode probably 15, and I got this is the third time he came on this show. Um, Tony, everybody knows him as Extreme Tony. Introduce yourself.
Hey, how's everyone going? This is your homeboy Extreme Tony. I know
Yeah,
for anyone outside of CW, that's how I introduce myself as your homeboy Extreme Tony. And of course, those of you that are within the CW community do know me as the Playmaker or the XGWL head honcho. Uh, well, yeah, this is the third time that I'm on the smoke room. What was when was the first time I was a guest? Like many years
2010.
ago, maybe a decade ago.
Yeah, 2010. I think.
Can't believe like the first time I've been on it was a decade ago. And then I think the last time I was on was 3 years ago.
No, it was before that. It was like probably 2.5, maybe.
Because I was looking through the chat history. It was 2017 when we were on.
Yeah, that was during that whole when I was with DCA and everything. I think.
Yeah, like that was when I first started watching DCA. That was when you were feuding with the Great D.
Yeah, yeah,
It was uh, as we reminisce
yeah,
and and seeing how long we've come since I've started in 2006 and you started in 2007.
yeah. It's
So
interesting. And you've seen the ups and downs of both of us. You know, we both had different situations come up in our career, and we went through them and we disappeared for a while, or we had to go to a different place and start our career. Like I went from YouTube to a forum to Skype to Twitter and back, back and forth, back and forth. And I still, the good thing about it is it shows how creative we are because we're able to bounce back no matter what, you know. Even
one
if we only got one fan, it don't matter if we've only got one fan. That one fan is enough because I appreciate anybody that actually gets entertained off anything I do. You know, if I can make one person smile, that's a success in my mind.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, but we're gonna start this interview. Um, this is what I usually ask. I'm gonna try to change it up a little bit. Um, I usually ask you what got you in the car originally, but we already know that already. So let's see. When you first started, what was your mindset, and what would you tell yourself if you can go back to tell your young self about how to approach things?
One thing is had I had we had the technology back then like we do now, I think I would have started this long before NoDQ and SMF and S&J, like back in 98 or 99, right before the whole Y2K, but obviously that was impossible. Plus, I was too busy with football at the time.
Yeah,
But like around 2002, I was in the E-Feds, and I think the one thing that got me into watching CEW the first time was around 2006 when I was on NoDQ.com trying to look up wrestling news. And then I saw this thing, NoDQ CAW, and I clicked on it to see it. I was like, wait, what is this?
hmm,
So I was like curious to see what Aaron Riff put out on his website with this video game that he put together this match and made a show out of this wrestling game. I was like, this is interesting, and I would occasionally click on these Noti QCAW matches, but I really didn't get fully into it till like around, I'd say November and December of 2006, when I came across this CAW league called TWF for the Wrestling Federation. Started
yeah,
watching that, and I tuned in from the beginning of their show and seeing like this is out like something I could really get into, and then started plugging in the forums that he was posting in, and someone around the same time someone contacted me for on cause.ws, which is
Yeah,
another place where I got my start posting,
yeah,
and where people posted their CEWs, and that's where I met a lot of people that I'm still working with today from the cause.ws. And
yeah.
then
I didn't. I remember that place. I remember I used to go on there and get a few calls. The formula for a couple calls and stuff like that, or get an idea of how who I can make or something. And but I know when I never that whenever I first started, it was all like an accident, really. But I did call, but in my privacy of my home before 2007, it was just like I was looking at Boy News World episodes. I tell this story all the time. I was looking at Boy News World episodes, and I found that SNL episode with George Feeney and Carl Winslow, and
uh,
I was hooked ever since.
yeah, I think around that time I started watching some of the other CEW leagues that were going on at the time.
Hmm.
And then around the time that I started posting my CEWs in around late 2006, someone contacted me asking me to if they could use my CEW characters into their show, and that's where I came across this one league called WWA at the time, then changed their name to MIW for Major Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, I remember
And the one thing about that show is that's where that's where of I can say that I've made my official debut in December 2006, the Extreme Tony CW at the age of 23, and then a month later they put the world title on XT. I was like, damn, already? Like, I wasn't expecting that. I
that.
wasn't expecting to be a world champion a month after debuting in CAW.
Yeah, people give you a hard time about that stuff. I remember because after that, people were trying to tell you that was back when everybody was trying to tell you you pushing yourself.
And the
And
funny thing is, I wasn't asking to be a world champion at that time, because I was just trying to be a team player. Like, whatever you needed me to do, I will do. I will facilitate.
people were
But
so competitive back then. People would do anything to get ahead, and they would
yeah,
say stuff like that to get ahead. Trust me, I know. I had that same situation a lot.
because that's how a lot of people were, like, to when from 2007 to 2008. It's like, I want to debut and I want to be the world champion. Like, that doesn't happen that way.
No,
Like like sometimes politics do get in the way, and I wasn't, like I was saying, that I wasn't expected to be the world champion so soon after debuting, and as soon as I won the world championship, I debuted in TWF around January 2007, and that's where I was like, and around that time in original CEW and also having your CEW in multiple leagues was unheard of,
yeah,
because
I remember.
there weren't too many original CEW leagues, and there weren't too many of those original characters in multiple leagues,
Mhm.
because for the most part every original character was exclusive to one league. It's not like how it is nowadays, where you have one character that's in at least three CEW leagues, and very few are exclusively in one CEW league.
Yeah, it's tough because you got you're trying to promote. Nowadays, you got it's all about promotion, and but you also got to be the mindset. You can't overdo it. You can't be in too many like most people do. They just do it just to get the world titles. I know people in Twitter that has probably got 500. Maybe I'm probably embellishing a little bit, but they have over 100 um, world titles or something like that in
Wait,
like a couple years.
how's that even possible? How
Because
do you?
you join so many leagues, man, and it's CPU played, so anything can happen. So think about it. They can win world titles just by just pure luck or something like that. And I'm just sitting there like, this ain't for me. I ain't got no, I got number of respect for some of them because they're some good guys. Some of them are, and but that's something for me. I'm used to story based. I'm used to script. I mean, something funny, something to watch all the way through, and not just for one thing. You know what I mean? Ain't no
Yeah,
disrespect,
because
but I like story.
yeah, because with a lot of these other like Twitter leagues that's going on with all these, because for me they look more like a Fight Club type of feel, or they're trying to, or a video e-fed,
Yeah,
and that's what I've been trying to get myself out of, and that's when I made the jump from e-fed to CAW.
yeah. One guy that's actually been rising up a little bit. He gets a lot of flack because he got an ego. He's proud of his progress when he started. Max from HVPW. I'm part of his league. He works hard and he pays the money for his stuff, like his laptop. He just bought a brand new setup and everything else. He gets shout outs from like real wrestlers who shouts out his show, and he goes to the shows and he does the work and everything else. So he can brag about it because he put in the work to do that. In my
Yeah,
mind,
seems like we're a bit behind on that trend.
yeah. Shoot, I tell him you can. Hey, I'm part of it. I'm with them, so I'm like I gotta do a promo later on for that league. And it's different for me because it's a video promo. I don't do audio promos there.
I mean,
But
that's how, and around the time that we started in CW, those things weren't unheard of either. Like everyone did promos where the wrestler would use the text that starts talking,
yeah,
and no one really was recording a voice promo. Like I
yeah,
think the first person to start doing that was Sherman. Like in TWF,
yeah,
like he
uh,
joined like around like September 2007. Sherman joined TWF, and he was one of the first people in CW to do voice promos.
yeah. What grabbed people's attention? See, I put in work. I'm sorry, but I put in work whenever I started. I didn't just join a colleague. I freaking ran a review show, and I freaking did voices for the characters. I was technically doing that, but I was doing it as a review.
I think I remember when you started doing the being the car reviewer back in those days, 2007, 2008.
Yeah,
It wasn't until like 2010 when your CW character started to debut in actual
I'm
CW leagues.
no, 2000. It started in 2007, but I was actually a reviewer first because I started in XWE, and then WDF I started in 2019. RCW I joined in 2008.
Mm,
You know RCW.
yeah, and one of the things, one of the side projects that I've been trying to work on, but been sidetracked by everything else, is there's one thing called that I want to call CW Origins,
Hmm.
where I want to retell like the intro for XT before the what actually happened in the other CW leagues, because it does feel a bit forced how I got into these CAW leagues and just became this world champion out of nowhere,
Yeah,
and actually, and especially being so young, because my CW character is supposed to be like me, but from an alternate universe. You know how the whole Eddie Mac from Earth 1610.
yeah, kind of.
Well, that's what the XT character is supposed to be, a representation of me in this in this world that we've created. How we would express ourselves if we were to actually do this for real.
Yeah,
I
yeah. It
think
would be me. Smokey would is me actually. He's amped up a little bit.
I view my CW character as kind of like the best version of myself, having all these things that I want that he already has.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
because on a regular basis, I don't wear suits every day, and then I don't have like all these things that I dream of having. But at the end of the day, these are really materialistic things.
Wait, don't you say that though. This dude right here, everybody. This dude right here showed me something the other day. He's a movie star now. Tony is in a movie. He's in
Yes. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to be in a movie. It's called Joint Venture. Something right up our alley since
Yeah.
even though it's been a while since I've taken a toke.
Yeah, you act. You know how it feels.
Dude, it is so good.
Yeah.
Having a little bit of indica to relax a bit before going to bed.
Man,
Or
I
having
can't do
or edibles.
this. Yeah. I can't do that right now. I'm on probation.
Oh damn, that sucks.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay, we're gonna move on. Be a movie star, everybody. Tony. Okay, if you could, next question is, if you can tell a new guy what, they're coming in and they doing commentary and everything else, what would your advice be? The draw in the fans because you're new and everything. People get quiet when they're uncomfortable when they doing it by themselves or anything. What would be your advice?
Well, one thing is I've been in that situation where I've been like nervous and uncomfortable doing commentary, and one of the best advice I can give them is to one is to relax, two like know your talent, three know the moves that you're gonna be calling, and then four is to tell a good story while the action is going on. But to elaborate on those points like is to relax is because you're gonna be because this is a new experience because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but doing commentary is a form of journalism. So so I so for those of you that want to do commentary, especially play by play, I would recommend brushing up a little bit on journalism just to give you guys a little bit of a helping hand there.
Yeah, do research on if you go into a different league and you commentate in somebody else's league. Do
And
research about the wrestlers.
and I do, and also I do know a little bit about journalism because when I was in school at junior college, I I tried to get into journalism class. Also, I could only attend for like 2 weeks, so I couldn't attend anymore after that. So I kind of have a little bit of a grasp on things as far as the journalism goes. But other than that, I do try to brush up, learn something new here and there. But
Yeah,
as far as like knowing the talent, especially if you're gonna have other people CW characters in your league, it is very important that you know the moves, like know their backstory, why they're fighting, and then as far as like telling a good story is like if you're new, like find something funny to talk about because
yeah. There's too much negative stuff going on in the world. You need to, we need to be trying to find a way to at least bring a little bit of positivity in this world because there's so much bad stuff going on.
and that's what CW is supposed to be. It's supposed to be an escape for a little bit, just enjoying yourself while you're watching this. And that's why I say like to have a joke, have something funny to say, if, especially as a fallback. If you have that time where you don't know what to say, just that's sort of a good time as a good fallback to crack a joke, uh, maybe tell them a little bit about yourself. That could help a bit too, because I don't know if you had a chance to watch the first episode of XGWL that I did. It's up on the XGWL YouTube channel.
Oh
It
Lord.
is night and day on how far I've come since that first episode, July 23rd, 2007. compared to the most recent episode of XUWL Charged, episode 91. In
I
those
hate myself.
13 years, it's not like I was good back then. It took me a while to get good.
Yeah, I was unfiltered whenever I first started, man. I didn't have no rules or nothing. I was just going by myself, and I was drinking while I was doing it. So I was just like, "Fuck yeah!"
well,
Oh,
well,
man.
well, one thing also is that everything in life is a learned skill. So don't so so anyone that tells you, "Oh, this is God given talent," no, like a lot of people who say they have God given ability, they're lying because they work so much on their craft to be as good as they are.
Yeah.
Like, because for the commentary, like I have to do a lot, not just learning how to call the moves, how to tell a story, but also how to be in character.
Yeah.
Because in XUW, I lend my voice to three different characters and have to be able to change my voice, change my speaking patterns for each of these
Lord,
characters.
I hate that show. I can't do it. I tried to do that a couple times in WDF. Man, I created this guy named the Swedish guy. And I was like, y'all. And I was like, why did I do that, man? I look back on him and was like, why?
Dude, you have a distinct voice, or it's very obvious that when you speak, it's you. You can't come on, you can't hide that accent you have
No, not really. Unless I use a voice changer.
because
Not really.
for me, I can change like how I speak with the three characters that I have because there's the extreme Tony character, the confident best version of myself, where you got the 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 18-time CAW world champion, where I could take out any opponent that I can, and this match will be without a shadow of a doubt a classic.
Yeah,
So that's the extreme.
I can change my voice a little bit better than I
And,
used to.
and then with the Hector Diaz, the commentator, which I have to give him a name, so that way I have, because you know how in other CW leagues you have some that are like owner slash commentator.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how am I gonna make this work? We have the owner slash wrestler,
Mm.
so I had to come up with something because I've had other people do commentary, but I had to come up with something in case I had to fill in the shoes. So that's one of the things I was so nervous because I needed someone else to do commentary for me because I wasn't comfortable doing the commentary yet.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to the next question. Let's see. We're gonna go this. You said something about this because we were talking about our projects and stuff we were wanting to do. You know, I had talking about Planet Call about how I want to do this thing where I'm gonna do it. It's like a help center where we it ain't nobody own it. Nobody owns this place. It is ran by veterans. We're gonna help the new guys. They're gonna come in. They need promo help. We help them on that. They need advice. They need hit commentary advice. They need um, people just any kind of help. Period. The right kind of help, not the wrong kind of help. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
one that makes you turn into an asshole. We don't want that. We want you to come in this and actually grow call the right way instead of being a negative person. And actually do this for fun and watch the show. Don't just watch your match. Enjoy the show. Help support the league you're in and actually know what you're doing. What you
Well,
tell me.
it can be a bit of a challenge for because some people who have their CW character in other leagues will only watch their match and then that's it. But it is kind of a bit of a challenge to try to get them to watch the entire show. Well, because the points that because we are touching back on the points that we were talking about earlier on how to make it entertaining
Yeah.
and all these things because the commentary can make or break a show.
Yeah, it's like SML it drew me in because Dingoes and stuff with his voices and stuff like that, the comedy and stuff like that. So that's what brought me in with that.
Yeah, same thing with me with watching SMF and ICCW.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm bored, I try to do their voice impressions. It's pretty funny.
You never know. Hey,
Because
God.
I think the one thing that inspired me to do so is I was watching this one YouTube video from like 2008, and this one guy was doing like voice impressions of some of the voices of CAW from back then, and not one of them did include the Super Dingoes from SMF,
Damn.
and it was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. I talked to him recently. Actually.
I can probably do a few impersonations of them.
I won't do the impressions. All I remember is back in the den, I was remembering the forum and the craziness that went on there after a show, after the SNF show, where the whole entire forum would blow up with 1,000 people every freaking day. And they're just like fans, different fans from different places. That's how I got my name out there, was there. Because there's so many different people that would come to that website, and see your stuff posted. So that's how I got my stuff out there, because that was the go-to spot for call period back then. There wasn't
Yeah,
nothing that could top that. I don't care what you say. There wasn't nothing that you could top that place at all back
no,
then.
I mean there were other forums in CAW that posted their shows, but yeah, you're right that the SMF forums was the place to go.
Yeah, because the other people came to there just to promote their stuff because there's so many people coming and going. They
Yeah,
didn't stay there to talk or nothing because that place was freaking crazy. I'm talking about if you stayed in there, you had a tough back because them people were freaking crazy. And they were freaking. We had a guy named Porno Man. We had a guy named Man Mosquito. It was freaking people just didn't know have any sense.
oh, I know what you're talking about because I've seen the the. I don't know how to even describe it, but I've seen it.
And then it made because me and him couldn't be, we couldn't talk for longer than 5 minutes back then without arguing, or you know what I mean. Now it's like completely. Me and him have actually been keeping a level of friendship last year or so, and not I ain't been too, because I've been kind of standoffish about everything after the last couple of years. Because I have a hard time trusting anybody, basically. But he's been pretty cool though. He ain't gave me a reason to not trust him. You know what I mean? He actually seems like he's trying to make up for what happened in the past. In other words,
Yeah, because
even
we're
though there's so much drama going on with him, and that's everywhere, man. People, I ain't gonna bring up too much of it. Blacklist thing and everything else. Just we better than that. We don't need to be bothered. We're just supposed to be here to have fun, and we
yeah,
ain't supposed to be worrying about no blacklist or politics, anything like that. We
yeah.
here to do. We're here to entertain people. You can't entertain people. You worry about having people harass you constantly. It's shit.
Believe yeah, believe me, I've had my share of drama in my 13 years of CAW.
I can't shut my mouth. That's what gets me in trouble most of the time.
Because there's been so much of it, and there's only three that really have been the most like in, intense and hateful and things like that. But
All right.
they didn't last too long, thankfully. Well, except for the third one, which lasted for quite a bit of years. But But one,
Triple Fine's me.
but think, but the one that was the worst one was this clever guy who thought he was able to spell bastard backwards.
Good Lord.
And then this other guy who, you know who I'm going to talk about next, this guy who thought he was a doctor, but his name was more of a salad.
Oh, Doctor. Oh, Pizza.
Yes.
I remember him. We gave him hell.
And then the one was BURB.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Me and her have fallen out.
Well, that was a long time ago. I know that I spoke with her a few years ago on Facebook Messenger. We've made our peace and we've moved on.
Yeah, me and her didn't ever have a chance to do that. We had a falling out like in 2000 and I think 12. Yeah.
But anyway, because aside of that, things haven't really been dramatic.
Yeah.
And
I'm
see,
gonna explain things to people. The reason why we're talking about this, everybody, is because we're trying to let you know. But if y'all go through the same thing, trust me, we know. We go through this bullshit constantly. You know what I mean? So if you're going through it too, then that's normal because if you do this for a while, you gotta learn shit's gonna happen sometimes. You're gonna have a disagreement with people. And it's gonna happen. People ain't gonna get along. There's people arguing all the time. Nobody gets along with everybody. There's always gonna be somebody who hates somebody. Period.
one thing is, I don't pay much attention to it because throughout the years of CW, I mean, we've gone around seeing like who our friends are, and we've hung out with our friends in CW that we do things with the most, and we're not always going to see eye to eye, but we know we can understand each other where we're coming from, and that's
Yeah.
why I have a good appreciation for my group of friends that we're always on the same page a lot of the times, and we're just making the most out of what we do in CW.
Yeah. Let's be lucky. People like that, like you and everything else, are lucky because me, I had to rebuild and everything. I had to make new friends and everything because of all this drama of mine. But it's all good because I do it, and I don't blame nobody. I man up and I do what I need to do. You know what I mean? So I'm here. I'm in this for the fun part. If I wasn't in this for the fun part, I wouldn't be here. Period.
So one thing is, like I've had to reinvent myself a few times too. Not to do a complete overhaul like you've done with your character, but add in a
Yeah.
few new wrinkles, maybe say a couple new catchphrases, and
Yeah.
maybe add a couple of new moves to the repertoire. Or in the case of my character, like drop a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe I think I'm go crazy.
like think about it, like when I first started, I was hella overweight, and my character reflected some of that, and I was like super big back then. But now I'm a lot slimmer than I was back then.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I lost like 100 pounds or anything like that, but I have lost a good 60 pounds since I was at my heaviest.
Yeah. Okay.
And then my character reflects that loss and the adapting of a new style.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna move on because we've been basically on the same question for a while. We're gonna. I'm not sure how long we've been doing this interview, but I'm gonna ask you this: what is your perspective of this year so far in call? Not in outside of it, but in call. What is your how do you think it's going so far?
Oh, one thing is I can only control everything that I'm a part of. So
Yeah, that's what
with
I'm talking.
so with XGWL, I have full control of what I can do there, and then whatever else I can contribute to any CW league I'm a part of, which I have to iterate this that I am definitely a team player with every other CW league that I'm a part of. It's like whatever they need from me is like I'll do my best to facilitate, whether they need a promo for me or if they need me to put someone over.
Yeah.
And I'll do my best to facilitate because I'm at a point where I don't need to win all the time, where I don't need to be the world champion again. Because even though that for the Extreme 20 character, it's always a safe bet to put the championship on him. Because given how successful my character's been, and it's always been that way for the past 5-6 years now. I don't want to say that XT is resting on his laurels, but always doing something to bring out something unexpected from time to time.
I don't know what Smokey's going through right now.
But ever since I came back full time in 2016, wanted I've always wanted to have this mentor role where I'm helping out the young talent and be able to develop future talent, the stars of tomorrow.
Yeah.
It can't just be XT all the time. It can't be just like Sherman and Grade D and you or some other of the mainstays of CEW. We have to find a way to find those new talents that could be a world champion here and there because there have
She
been
found,
there have been some talents that can be that main eventer because there are some that are emerging right now.
yeah.
I
I
don't
see
want
how
to say
underrated.
big names, but I see them and I see their potential and I see that they can be that their character has the look of a champion that the person who's voicing that character can put the confidence to be at that position.
Yeah. What I look at whenever I look at that is like this guy I know. I'm in a group with him. Vince Masters. He
Uh
has his SGW too. And but we in a faction in this league called Catch Style, and he's good. This dude is talented as fuck, but he is not knowing. He's in his own little circle. Him and Matt Rush and a bunch of other people in this little crew or whatever. But they all do the same thing we do. But they know what they're doing. They know how to cut promo. They know how to stay in character. They know how to help each other. They got the other thing in order. But they ain't known. They ain't had the opportunity. And I like Vince enough. He actually helped me out since I've been over there. So I'm trying to look out for him when it comes to this stuff too, because
mhm.
I see a lot of good things in him. Like whenever I started, but I couldn't. Instead, the only reason why I had a voice is because of that forum. Twitter nowadays it's it's freaking insane with how many people is in call. There's a million different calls out there. There's
Well,
a million calls in you.
one
Period.
one thing though is that I try to go and see if I can pick some of those talents to plug into XGWL if I can.
Hmm?
Think I was able to pluck one of those talents over. I don't know if you heard the name Roxana Stone.
Yeah, I know her. Uh,
Yeah, put
she's in
the,
Jam.
the yeah put the WCDL Women's Championship on her one time.
Hmm? Yeah, she's in Jam. I talked to her like earlier.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Where,
I
where,
thinking
where's
of
she at?
that, huh?
Wait, where's she at?
Jam. And
Oh, okay.
Cameron Cameron's league.
Um, there's a
Bash.
there's a lot of CAW leagues that I don't know of
Yeah,
because
Cameron Bash is the guy from originally Fam.
because the only ones that I know of are those that are either in VWU, my group of but my group of friends, or the Converse.
Mm. Yeah, that's one thing about you is you do live streams like regularly. I'm talking about guys. This dude right here freaking live streams almost all the time. He not just wrestling. He does football. He does different things, and he does it consistently. I ain't seen it. He does this every single week since
One thing about the live stream, this is the easiest thing to do, because all I can do is put the headset on, put the game on, go live, and just pick some matches to as I'm just having a casual conversation with the audience that's watching.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other hand, where I'm doing an episodic show of XGWL, where I'm doing a lot of mundane tasks, where I'm editing the show, adding the theme song, and cutting everything down, and then having to render the file, having to do commentary, and then on top of that, having to do post-production editing, where I'm trying to get all the audio levels of the commentary done before finishing, putting the final touches, and then doing the final render, and then uploading it up to YouTube.
Yeah.
I know. It sounds like a mouthful, but it really is, because there's a lot of hours you have to put in on each episodic show to get it out to task to where I want it to go. And sometimes when I'm recording the shows, I'm like doing take 10s, 11s, 12s. So I'm trying to get like the best match that I can, and it doesn't always turn out that way.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem I'm having right now in my league. I'm recording. I got everything done except half a match, and I can't never get the ending I want. So I've been stuck on that same thing all day today. I'm talking about the same match all day long today.
Well, usually when I'm stuck in that situation, I'll just leave it alone for a bit, do something else, and then maybe come back to it a couple days later. And a lot of times that usually works.
Yeah, I almost broke my controller earlier. I was so freaking pissed.
Because for me, it's always a combination of either CPU playing through the match, or I'm controlling one side of the coin.
Yeah, I mix it together.
Yeah, it's always a combination of the two. Whereas usually I'll play through one or two of the matches that make the final cut, or have the CPU play through the matches.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing to record is the backstage segments.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to just do like a promo where when the character's in front of the camera and then someone's doing a voice for it. I actually like to do where you have like a backstage segment where two or more characters are speaking, interacting with each other. It's the hardest thing to do, but it's also the most rewarding of all the things you can do.
Yeah, people do some interesting things though. Really, like HVPW, they do freaking insane like edits and stuff like that for their interview segments, and they're really having the actual background look like they in the ring or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. They're promo people. They're people in their leagues are not people that in like these other leagues. They're actual actors. They are freaking like wrestlers, real wrestlers. It seems like. You listen to these guys promo. I'm just sitting here like, okay, and this is what I'm facing against. This is what I'm planning to do. I'm just sitting here like, this gonna make me step up my game. I love it. If I can get that kind of, if I can get that feeling after doing it for this long, doing call for this long, then I'm doing something right because I'm still trying to improve and have fun.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm wanting to have is more voice talent.
Yeah.
especially female voice talent, because there's a couple of CAW leagues that actually have female voice talent. I'm
Yeah.
like, God damn, dude, we got to get into this thing.
It's on Twitter.
Well, one thing though is that
Be careful.
no. Okay, let me finish this point. Look, one thing is that one thing is like I work a full-time job, and then on top of that, I have a side hustle where I'm making a
Oh,
lot of money.
when you sell
So,
drugs.
no, nothing.
I know.
Already like this is legit. Like
I know.
so, I make a little bit of coins that way I have a little bit extra to spend on. So I was
Yeah.
thinking that because some of these voice actors do charge a bit for their time, so I do have like a little bit of spending money to be able to to throw a couple chips their way to get this done.
Yeah.
and and I think they could take the shows to the next level.
You gotta watch how you do. But
Well,
you gotta make sure that you're
I'm
legit.
also I'm also interested in want to get some merchandising going,
Yeah.
like for shirts, coffee mugs, uh, keychains. Because one time while I was running the XGW website via webs.com,
Hmm.
like they gave me this offer to get like business cards and pens and keychains, and I was able to get all of it with the XGW logo on it. I'm not sure if I still have the pens though because they broke on me. So, but I do
Yeah.
have one of the keychains. Like, I'm thinking that it'll help us get a little bit of money and use that money to reinvest it in on the show. Like, get these voice actors
Yeah. Okay. We're
and
gonna move on.
help give a little bit of coin for those that bet in CEW because there's a lot of people that aren't working, and I do want to help out, give them some chips. They're sending them their way.
Yeah. Because some people are really good, like really, really good, and they deserve it. Like
Yeah,
that's why I'm aiming to be. But I still gotta get my. Before I can do that, I gotta get me a better mic and a bunch of other things. But I feel like I can get to that level if I had the right equipment, and I will eventually.
because I think this has potential.
Yeah. But we're gonna move. This is gonna be the last question. 'Cause we're at 50 minutes right now. Um, um, it, who is somebody that could be like the superstar to look out for the rest of the year? Could step up in your mind and be that guy?
Let's see, I have a couple in mind
Go ahead.
within XPWL. Um, the easy answer would be Trey Steele, who who's set to be the who's who has in Sherman's radar because after what happened at the Moment of Truth, Sherman is his new challenger, and this encounter with Trey Steele, and Sherman wants to throw the gauntlet and possibly have him challenge for the XGW Ultimate World title at Touchdown in Tokyo. So that would be the easy answer in regards to XGWL. Another one would be one of the newest signees to XGWL, which is JC Wolf.
Mm,
I so 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 here's the thing though, is like when me and him were feuding in CCL, and then we got a chance to like work together and figure that like we really like I really enjoyed working with JC and how that feud came out to be and at the end of the day, and then that idea was on the back burner, and ever since I came back full time I've been in rebuilding mode, like losing a lot of top talent and having to rebuild. So I had to sign some top names to try to get back to where I want to be. So
yeah.
that was
But
what that came to mind.
my thing is, the way I'm doing things now is I'm getting the new talent. I ain't worried about that big names. I got some names like you, I got you and a few other people, yeah, the big names, but I'm trying to focus on like getting the new guys involved. You know what I mean? Cause that's my whole thing. Like you were saying earlier about helping the new guys. We've been here for a long time. That's what we should be doing, and that's what my whole perspective is right now. Is trying to have something different. You know, give the fans something not like every other league. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of newer talents, the ones that do come to mind immediately is try to build up the new talents, and the ones that I want to build up will be Ozzy Andy and Jamari Mito, especially after their feud down in WCDL, which is XGWL's version of NXT developmental brand. And they had a very good feud, and I figured that I can either carry it over to on the main roster or have them go their separate paths. But I definitely have them. I do. I am very interested in building them up as the next great talents to build up for the future. And
Yeah, I
then,
think
and then for those that are outside of the spectrum of XGWL, the one name that I keep seeing some good things from will be Mikey Truth. Like his work is pretty good. Definitely one of those names that could definitely be the next great breakout star.
I think he already broke out a little bit. He's in like he's pretty big.
I mean, he's making a name for himself, but
I mean, I
but
already, me
but
and
he
him
has to
already.
take that next
Me,
step to be the main eventer.
yeah, that's how me and him don't really talk. Me and him don't talk at all because he's part of that group over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, and
I
that's
am.
the reason why me and him don't never talk. And he probably got this whole he got this whole probably idea about me that everybody tells. You know, everybody gets their own idea about who I am and everything else. People like you and everybody else know who I really am, but people don't give people a chance to show that side. But yeah, but yes, Mikey seems like a cool guy. He cuts good promos, he edits his stuff, everything. That's what you need to do. You need to put in the work if you don't want to get attention. Period. I'm just saying period a lot today.
There's some pretty good talents also down in WCDL, but I don't have the roster room. I don't have the spots on the main roster to bring them up yet
Yeah.
because I do definitely want to keep them down there to give people a reason to watch WCDL, like Al Cabrera um and Wrath and
Joe Omega. Get Joe Omega.
Jeremiah.
Omega.
Yeah, Joe Omega also there. Biff Andreas, Evan O'Shea, Sasha Blackrose. Some of the names that I do have currently in WCDL.
Hmm.
Give it a little bit. Give a little bit more time, then it could possibly be on the main roster soon.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on here, and we got a bunch of stuff talked about today, and it's amazing because I didn't really ask a lot of questions, and I like that because we were able to talk about it and not rush through everything. And
Right.
and I want to end it so we can always have something to build on every time we talk.
Right.
Because apparently nobody else wants to come in the smoke room. Nobody wants to smoke, and that's not good. It's all good though, because I always find a way to come back. And the smoke room will be back for another episode. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, man, for coming on here. Tell everybody your YouTube channel and your Twitter,
Well,
everything, how to get a hold of you.
let's see. So on YouTube, you can definitely search Extreme Tony for my main channel, and then the XGWO for the official. XGWO YouTube channel where we're on the Extreme Tony channel. I'll be posting the live stream for XGWO Live every Sunday, but also sometimes during this outbreak of the, I know people call it COVID-19. I've been doing live streams like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. Well, not Friday night because I'm doing this as we speak at the time of this recording, but I am working on doing some live streams on the weekends. But definitely Sunday for sure will be most of the XGWO live shows. But then on the YouTube channel, on the other hand, is where I have the official episodic shows where I do the editing and stuff like that. Like we were talking about earlier. And on Twitter, you can follow me at Extreme Tony or the XGWO Twitter at XGW_wrestling. And if you want to follow Tammy's Twitter, you can put certain